Hi lovely people, welcome back to the channel. Question: why is it that the police and the military and the government in general always turn against their own people? I've been watching recently all the protests in Peru, in Israel, in France, basically all over the world. There's protests right now all over the world. I would say in 110 countries out of 190 something countries. And every time you see a protest on the news, the police are beating people down, water cannoning them, letting dogs loose on the people, smoke bombing them. I don't know what all that smoke is. Tear gassing them, yeah? And my question is why? How did it come so far that people out of our own community, the police that are put in place to serve and protect the people, they beating up on the people when they voice their opinion in the street? Instead of protecting us, the people that they're supposed to be protecting, they are protecting the government, the politician, the elites. I mean, even in a place like Davos, when all the world leaders get together to discuss things that the WEF wants to throw down our throat, and the people outside are protesting, they beat them down. Peaceful protesters are being pushed back, they're being silenced by the police and the military. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but over the last 15-20 years, governments have basically militarized the police. So they've given them everything that the military has, basically, in order for them to protect them, the government, from us, the people. And I think it's amazing the way the mind of the police and the military works, because guys, you are part of us. You are our brothers, our sisters, our uncles, aunts, sons, daughters. You are put in place to protect us and not beat us down to protect the politicians and the elites. How whacked is that? And why isn't anybody seeing that? Honestly, I want to say the only time recently in the last 10-15 years that I saw a difference in that behavior was in 2013, when those millions of people came out on the street in Egypt, and the military said, well, they were out on the street for weeks, and the military stood up and said, hey, we understand what the people want, we hear you. And they stepped in and they made the president step down. They basically took over. They were like, okay, that's the people are who we're here to serve. And they played that part. It was unprecedented. Okay, yes, we have coups, C-O-U-P, all over the world where military take over governments. Those are a whole other story. But I think it's a phenomenon that's going on around the world, that the police are not on our side anymore. And my thinking is, how did this happen? Guys, you are from our community. You are part of us. You are our families. Why are you beating us down and protecting the politician and the elites? Why can't your own people protest? Can they speak? Can they go in the street? It's our right. Why are you beating us back with water hoses and dogs? like it was in the 60s in America. Like, what is going on? And it's happening all over. I've seen it in the US, I've seen it in Europe, I've seen it in my own country the last few years in the Netherlands. The police let dogs out on people. The police knock them down to the ground with their sticks just because they're protesting against something that our government did and they didn't like. Another phenomenon that I just can't wrap my head around: why is it that our governments always implement things that are against us, their own people? It's like they lost their friggin' mind. They do whatever they want to do. They do not represent us. They never implement policies that make anything better for us. It's never anything good. It's never anything like you could sit at home and see on the news and go, hey, that's nice. Look what the government did for us. Never. You never see that. It's always something that is always one push worse for us. A little bit more taxes, a little bit more inflation, a little less housing, a little more road tax. It's never ever something good. No matter what they promise before we go to the voting booth, the aftermath is never good. Why does our police, our military, and our government constantly work against us? I think I finally understand why our governments have militarized the police this much. Because, of course, comparing to the people, the police is outnumbered. So they have to give them way more ammunition to keep us in check. To keep us in check, to shut us up when we want to protest, when we want to go out on the street. That's why they're so militarized. I kid you not. Right now, as we speak, and the last few years, my government has been trying to find ways to curb protests in the street, trying to find ways to make it illegal to protest in the street. Can you imagine the madness? So basically, you can do whatever you want, and we are not allowed to speak out. We are not allowed to go in the street and protest. Guys, they are passing laws while we sit here and sleep. This is part 1, guys. I got part 2 coming up. Subscribe, tune in, and let's talk about this.